Hello everyone, I am the Analyst and welcome to the College Football Special. Thank you for turning in. Sadly, it's kind of a sad week to wear this, but we will get to that here in just a moment. Georgia Tech, to start off our ugly results this week, loses to Duke 34-20. Wow. We were just talking about last week, Georgia Tech possibly being one of the teams to watch in the ACC, and we were also saying Duke was going to be a tough opponent. So, good for Duke, good win for their program, but hate to see Georgia Tech go down like that. Another ugly result. Coming in the big house, BYU loses to Michigan 31-0. Not a lot to say about that. BYU's just out of gas after losing a close game there at UCLA. And now they lose a big game against Michigan. Michigan's starting to look like one of the better teams out of the Big Ten. And really taking on a Jim Harbaugh type style. They're running the football well. Getting some decent big passes off their running game and the play action. And Michigan scored 24 points in the second quarter and then just kind of cruised after that. So, it's kind of sad for BYU. Hopefully BYU can turn it around, make the Las Vegas Bowl at the very least. But we will see how that goes. The other ugly result involving the jersey behind me and the one I happen to be wearing. Utah beats Oregon 62-20. Hoy vey. Travis Wilson threw 18 for 30, 227 yards, 4 touchdowns, 6 carries for 100 yards and 1 touchdown. I'm really not sure what to think about this. Is this the downturn for the Ducks? Is this the time where they start only going for 7 and 8 wins this season? Will they come back and win 9-10 games still? It's not impossible. We still have the likes of USC and Stanford on the schedule. However, this is one of those years where, Oregon doesn't have a defense. And they don't have a defense. I looked out on that field and it was pretty much Utah playing in an open field, throwing the ball to their receivers who are rarely covered. Maybe some of the black specks from the artificial turf, black specks of rubber. There's more black specks of rubber than there were Oregon defenders. Good God. Anyway, it's gut check time for Oregon. Is Vernon Adams going to be able to come back next week? Or will we see the likes of Jeff Locke instead? Will we even see a couple of freshmen possibly make a push for first-team football? That's a good question. I don't have the answers for you. Mark Helfrich thinks there's good character on this team. All I know is Utah is one of those squads that's going to be fighting for a top 4 spot at this point. Their defense is legit. As long as Travis Wilson stays healthy, the rest of their football team is going to be fine as well. They came in with a great game plan. So we'll have to see from here. Let's go on to our impressive wins of the week. As much as we could argue that Utah's win was extremely impressive, we're going to go a different route with a few of these. We have UCLA beating Arizona 56-30. Scooby Wright for Arizona in that defense gets injured once again. This time he's out for about 4 weeks, which is a real bummer for Arizona. Solomon's not playing well for them at quarterback. We'll have to figure that out. For UCLA, the freshman coming in, throwing 19 for 28, Mr. Rosen. 284 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's the real deal, guys. He is the real deal. He's the future of UCLA football, and he's going to be a problem for Pac-12 squads everywhere. He is ridiculous. Moving on to our next game. Another impressive win, this time for a former Oregon coach. His squad, used to be his squad anyway, former Rich Brooks coach squad, Kentucky. Kentucky comes out and beats Missouri, who was still ranked even after that UConn win. That was 9-6 last week. beats Missouri 21-13. Towels for Kentucky, 22 of 27, 249 yards and 2 touchdowns. Good win for Kentucky. Maybe they'll get themselves out of the bottom end of the SEC this year. And in the other impressive game, the barn burner in Texas, TCU beating Texas Tech 55-52. 107 points scored between the two. Boykins for TCU, 34-54 from the field. Well, I should say passing, and threw for 485 and 4 touchdowns. Neither team can play defense, that's for sure. But when Texas Tech is an underrated squad this year, they're going to finish with 8 or 9 wins, I think. Make a pretty solid bowl game. But as soon as TCU faces an even halfway decent defense, they are going to have trouble. Oh, are they going to have trouble? Because they can't stop anybody. So I'm looking for the likes of Baylor. I'm looking for the likes of Oklahoma to come out and upset them. But we shall see here in the future. So, looking forward here. I'll have it posted on here for you to see. My top 10 going in to week... Goodness, what week is it anymore? Yeah, I'll probably post it up there so you guys can see it. It doesn't matter. My top 10. Ohio State, I have at number 1. Michigan State, I have at number 2. Ole Miss at 3. TCU at 4. Baylor at 5. UCLA at 6. LSU at 7. Utah at 8. LSU, I have on there twice. Why did I do that? Oh well, we'll put Florida State at 9 instead, and we have Georgia at 10. We have some pretty big games coming up for a couple of those squads this coming week, so let's get into it. What to watch for this next week? We have games including Oklahoma versus West Virginia, Iowa versus Wisconsin. Iowa's been off to a hot start. Keep an eye on them. Baylor playing Texas Tech should be another game that is high scoring. Either that or Baylor's defense is going to show up. One of the two. Kansas State is playing Oklahoma State. Kansas State and Bill Snyder's squad are so far undefeated. Granted, they don't really play a lot of anybody early on in the year. But this will be their first test. We'll see how Kansas State does. Ole Miss plays Florida in one of the big weekend games. They actually ranked Florida this week. Should be a tough test for Ole Miss, I would think, but I think Ole Miss's defense and offense are more than capable of putting up a big result. Mississippi State plays Texas A&M. Notre Dame against Clemson. Good time for Notre Dame to show what they're made of, or to have Clemson come up and show that they are the actual class of the ACC. And our big matchup in the SEC this particular weekend, Georgia is playing Alabama. Will Alabama redeem themselves after a terrible showing against Ole Miss? Will Georgia come up and beat Alabama and show that Alabama is not a team for the future? I guess we'll have to find out. Now, sneaky good games for this particular weekend. Northwestern is playing Minnesota. Minnesota gave TCU all they could handle. Look for Northwestern to win this game, but it is going to be closer than the experts think. NC State is playing Louisville. Will Louisville finally get one of these close games to be a win? Not sure, but we'll have to see how that goes. Looking forward, also, we start with one of the military school matchups for the year. Air Force is playing Navy. If you want to watch some great triple option offense, this is the game to turn into. Or tune into, excuse me. Ohio State plays undefeated Indiana. We'll find out if Indiana is terrible and nowhere near their 4-0 record, or we'll find out that they're better than they think, and Ohio State has a lot of work to do in their game against, I believe it was Ball State. Don't quote me on that. We'll find out if their game a couple weeks ago was just a fluke. So look into that. Another big matchup for this next weekend. It's sneaky good. Duke plays Boston College. Boston College held Florida State to 14 points. So keep an eye on that, and we'll see if Duke wants to make a run at the ACC title. Anyway, this has been college football special with me, the analyst, at the Analyst32. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend, and make sure you tune in and watch some awesome games. Have a good one.